Did Vince McMahon and the WWE once almost open a gentleman's club that would feature WWE divas as its main attraction? In this video, we will dive into the facts. You're watching Pro Wrestling Noise. Don't forget to hit that like button. The downfall of Vince McMahon started in 2022, when allegations against him began to surface. Allegations that he had paid millions in hush money to cover up relationships with WWE employees, some of which had been labeled inappropriate and even predatory. But what truly grabbed headlines was the story involving Janelle Grant. Accusations painted a picture of McMahon using his immense power and influence to manipulate and control those around him, particularly women. In 2023, these allegations continued to snowball, dragging Vince further into the public eye for all the wrong reasons. The wrestling community, once loyal and supportive, began to question not only his leadership, but also his moral compass. Shortly after the TKO Group merger, the new owners swiftly cut ties with Vince McMahon, making it clear they wanted no association with him. While some were initially skeptical, it's now evident that Vince is truly gone from WWE. By the beginning of 2024, Vince McMahon's reputation was tarnished beyond repair. WWE's once untouchable figurehead was now the subject of an ongoing investigation, his legacy teetering on the edge of collapse. But this isn't the first time McMahon and WWE have been criticized for their treatment of women. Long before these scandals broke, there were signs of a problematic culture within WWE, especially when it came to its portrayal of female talent. To truly understand how we got to this point, we need to look back at WWE's history, particularly the late 90s and early 2000s, the Attitude Era. During this period, WWE was at the height of its popularity. But it wasn't just about wrestling. The company had embraced a more edgy, provocative style, and that meant female talent was often booked for their looks rather than their wrestling abilities. Vince McMahon himself played a role in creating degrading storylines and match stipulations that objectified women in ways that would be unacceptable today. Female wrestlers like Trish Stratus, Lita, and Sable were frequently involved in storylines that had nothing to do with their in-ring ability. Instead of being treated as athletes, they were sexualized, subjected to embarrassing and degrading angles that portrayed them as nothing more than eye candy for the male audience. And at the heart of it all was Vince McMahon calling the shots and dictating the terms. Perhaps the most infamous example of this was the bra and panties match. The goal wasn't to pin your opponent or make them submit, but to strip them down to their underwear. This objectification wasn't just limited to the ring either. Behind the scenes, female talent was often treated with little respect. They were given far less screen time than their male counterparts and were rarely involved in main event storylines. In 1998, the company took things a step further by filing an unexpected trademark for WWF the Strip Club. At first glance, you'd think Vince McMahon and his team were getting ready to open an actual gentleman's club, but the application listed surprising uses. The trademark was for arcade games, toys, jigsaw puzzles, and even video games, industries that at first glance seem far removed from anything related to adult entertainment. Whether or not Vince McMahon ever intended to launch a physical strip club isn't clear, but what is clear is that the company was fully leaning into an era that used female talent as sexualized props for its male-dominant viewers. 1 year after the trademark was filed, it was officially abandoned, leaving behind little more than a paper trail and a brief mention in the darker parts of WWE's history. Whether or not Vince McMahon ever planned to open a real-world venue remains unclear. What could this strip club have been if it had come to life? Maybe McMahon envisioned a highly sexualized live event featuring the divas, mimicking the objectification we saw in the ring, but in a more intimate and adult setting. Could fans have paid to see WWE divas perform live, beyond their degrading match stipulations? Perhaps the trademark was part of an attempt to test the waters of how far WWE could go in blending adult entertainment with wrestling. It's possible the idea never took off because the divas themselves pushed back. After all, many of the women in WWE were already fighting to be seen as athletes rather than objects. The backlash and potential damage to WWE's brand might have been too much, and the trademark faded into obscurity within a year of being filed. Just to clarify, the idea of WWE opening a real gentleman's club is purely speculation on our part. However, the fact remains that the WWE The Strip Club trademark was really created. The true purpose behind it remains a mystery to this day. Thanks for watching another video here on the Pro Wrestling Noise channel. Hit that like button if you want more lesser-known stories covered on the channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new upload. We'll see you next time.